And we just watched episode 502, Between Two Fires. What did you think of it?
I am tired.
You're tired? Did the show make you tired, or you're just tired?
No, it's 2:30 in the morning, so I'm tired.
So we we go in and we see like a dummy of a red coat burning. So there's a riot and tar and feather.
Yes,
and
it opens with violence.
Yes. But I do still love the chorale music. I know it's some people's not their cup of tea, but I really like it. And we know the music changes based on location. So some people are like, oh, it's not Scottish anymore, I don't like it. Well, it hasn't been the original for some time.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
like when they were in France, it was a French, sung in French.
Caribbean, they had drums, you know, just progressed. But I really like it, and I still think that it has some Scottish undertones. I love it personally. So
still the same words.
So we're in agreement in that, yes. And then it has the one part, you know, at the end of the song, at the last, and that's very Scottish to me, if not almost the same. So, gosh, and then it pans out from that to
the tarring.
Well, yeah, the tarring, but then Bree is sketching Bonnet, and I just thought, horror. I mean, why is she sketching him? Just to get it out, you think?
Yeah, I think kind of like how journaling helps you deal with PTSD. Yeah, it's probably her.
She's not saying like my personal PTSD.
No. People in general
not that it's
who
funny.
suffer from
Not that's
PTSD, journaling helps. So I think maybe that was kind of her way of.
I think so too, but it's interesting because I'm an artist as well. I'm an art teacher, but I don't think I would be drawing like my rapist or that. I don't know, that to me brings like memories you don't want to conjure up. I don't know how she did that.
Well, I think it's
maybe it's just for emphasis in the show.
Her mind, so maybe feeling like getting it out of her mind.
Yeah,
this paper, I don't know.
Horrific. Like, I wouldn't want to save those papers. Maybe I could see her drawing them and then maybe burning them, but she actually had several saved. I mean, why wouldn't she think in their little tiny cabin that Roger or Jemmy would come across them?
Yeah.
So, you know, I think it was just for effect for the show, maybe. So, then from that beauty, we segue right into bleeding people.
Yes.
There's
the man who was sick.
Yes, what was his name? We have notes here. I actually took notes. His name was...
Write his name down.
I don't know. I have his name somewhere else in my notes. Is it Mr. Fisher or something like that? Fisher? I don't know. But the woman brings in her husband, and basically she
was trying to take care of him.
Yeah, and she poisoned him. Mercury poison. I don't remember the name of the medicine that she was giving him. She kept naming pills or something.
Blue pills? Or
I don't know. Maybe you guys can comment and tell us what she was giving him. I don't remember.
It was basically mercury.
Yeah, basically mercury. So, but Claire got a cadaver out of it.
Yes.
Oddly enough.
Yeah.
So,
and I love that she just allows her daughter Bree to walk into the room without first saying, "Oh, by the way, you're gonna see a
dead
open body
on my table."
Yeah,
I have here Warner Girl about a cut open person on the table.
Yeah,
glad she covered his face, but did you see the chest? We're just like,
let's put this little napkin over
that
your
was out of
face.
respect, but this is fine. With the open chest,
everything
is fine.
Else is.
I mean, what
like,
would you do walking into a room? I would do the same thing. Oh, there, cover the whole thing.
Yeah.
And she's not even worried about anybody else walking into there because later on we learn that she's not supposed to have the body. He's supposed to be buried. So she essentially stole this woman's husband dead body, and she has it. And they filled the coffin with rocks. So I'd be worried people were walking in. And then I was thinking, doesn't it smell? I mean, we're already back in that time, it stunk, right? But now they're in America and they're kind of like in the woods, so I'm thinking maybe some fresh air. But wouldn't a cadaver smell? And that's in your house? Like, you walk into the other part of the house, what's that smell? Or, like
trash.
Yeah, that concerned me a bit.
Yeah.
The wee beasties too.
Oh, yeah.
She's mentioning he had bacteria in his gut. I don't know. Rotting flesh. I don't know. Did she have a bunch of formaldehyde?
This is getting
dark.
dark.
Yeah, it's getting pretty gross.
Moving on.
Yeah, and then it segues into Jamie, what he's doing, and I was wondering, how does Governor Tylenol not know about Jamie's association with Murtaugh? You would think he would have done his due diligence. I mean, like, if we flash back to, like, Blackjack, he, like, knew everything. Like, he kept getting information. And they are, like, none the wiser. I mean, Murtaugh's essentially like his dad. Mm-hmm. And you wouldn't know about that association?
Lazy Colonel?
I guess.
Colonel or Lieutenant?
That one is I think he'd be over, is he the general?
I don't know. No,
it's a governor. Governor Tylenol.
Governor Tylenol?
Tryon. Yeah, it's governor.
Okay.
He leaves a lieutenant behind. You're testing me, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am.
So,
pass.
Yeah, and then I have, for Claire's thing, I was like, do we have to keep looking at the cut open man on the table? And then when I said that, they panned to Marcelly, butchering the animal.
And then Claire's standing on the porch, like admiringly watching her and thinking, I like your knife skills. Yeah.
You're the one, my apprentice, right? Mm-hmm. So they leave that scene and they go to Fanning. They go and meet Fanning in this town and they introduce him to the lieutenant that he's with. I don't know the lieutenant's name, but him and Jamie are kind of talking along the way, feeling each other out. And they show the guy that was tarred and feathered. He's got a scar on his chest. Can you believe they did this? You know, and Fanning's upset that his house was destroyed, torn apart too. So really, it's like this vicious cycle, you know.
So I thought it was interesting, you know, in the beginning where they were tarring and feathering, and he's begging for mercy.
Yes.
And Murtaugh says, "Where was the mercy?"
Right.
Because they act so appalled by that behavior, but they how quickly they forget what the British put
they don't
through.
Remember, the lowly people are not people at all.
Mm-hmm.
They don't, associate them with their stature. But I have written down that it's just a vicious circle. It's just the sides are just gonna get angrier and angrier. So you see that war brewing up. It's just inevitable. They're just getting angrier and angrier. And then you have Jamie walking in to face the Highlanders, and I was like, do they know him? Do they know them? But I guess they didn't know him, but so they think he's more like a traitor. And one man accuses Jamie as acting as Laird for his people, which actually is true because that's why he's doing it. He doesn't want any of his people on the ridge or his own family to get hurt. So, it's really revealing when he says that, and I thought, do they really know who he is? No, I don't think so. So then that one guy says, I'm Murtaugh. I have the next written down thing as, calm down, Lieutenant. Holy moly. He just stabs the guy with a sword. I was like, yeah, we're quick to anger there. And then after that whole scene, was it Fanning that came into the room? What happened? And Jamie's forced to defend the lieutenant. Oh, he was defending himself.
Yeah. Well, he's quick-witted.
Yeah, he was quick-witted because I guess right there he's showing Lieutenant like I'm on your side. Yeah. I'm your guy. You don't have to worry about me.
Caught between two fires.
Yeah.
There. Yeah.
And I think the lieutenant did it because, aside from being rash and quick to anger, he's wanting that large tract of land that he was talking to Jamie about. He's like, oh, well, maybe if I get Murtaugh, then I'll get a nice piece of land. So I think he's ambitious in that sense. But then when Jamie talks to him further, he kind of has a conscience.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that'll play later. If he'll use that to his advantage, knowing that about the lieutenant.
Yeah. Possibly.
Yeah, so I don't know. But then we pan back to Bree teaching Roger to shoot. I just love this whole scene.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I think there was something about squirrels I didn't quite
They
follow. I
were
was like,
shooting at the squirrels.
Roger's
practicing.
talking about squirrels. Roger's kind of none the wiser. One, with what's going on with Bree. He doesn't realize something's bothering her. I would think that during that kind of close quarters, and also there's not a TV to distract or a cell phone to distract or any of the modern conveniences to distract you. I would think that if you were with a person all the time, you would notice something was off, but
Yeah.
I guess Roger doesn't notice. You know?
Yes.
And he mentions that Jamie doesn't respect him, and I'm like, I wonder why. Let's think about that a little bit, Roger. I mean, there could be several reasons. One is that he didn't immediately say he loved Bree, and it took some time to come back. So Jamie's having a hard time with that. Another is that Roger's just not really fitting in anywhere.
No.
It's just kind of.
Another thing for me is his ugly hair.
Oh, you don't like his hair. I think that's his real hair.
Do you
I think he grew it out.
Does anybody know?
Isn't that his real hair? But you know what? He's looking beefier, like more chiseled. So, but I do like the Roger with the beard and the shorter hair.
Yeah.
But I thought it was his real hair. Do you guys know if it's his real hair? I heard
some
somebody
bad
mention-
wig to me.
Really? I don't know. I
I
knew
I'm
he grew out
curious.
his hair. I can tell Jamie's is a wig.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then Murtaugh's wig is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
I like
that
his
one
wig,
is.
so I think
Yeah.
they did a good job on him. Let's see what else I have here. Oh, she says, why don't we aim for a tree? Because you can't hit a target, so... Yes, she's serious. We're going to aim at a tree, Roger. And then you can even, you're like, oh, what's wrong? So, yes, you need to aim at a tree. And I just love it that a woman is showing a man how to shoot. And she's all close. Because in the movies, you always see, like, you know, it's the part of the scene where the guy's trying to take advantage. But then Roger's like to his wife, oh, I can't focus because you're there. Oh, sorry, I kind of drooled a little bit right there. Did you see that? It just came out. Sorry. I didn't mean to like drool on that part, but I thought it was cute. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I thought how it made him nervous. That was kind of
Yeah, it made him
cute.
nervous.
But then after she shoots the turkey,
Yeah,
he
she
didn't
was
get
like,
it.
"What? You're nervous? Psh, I just shot dinner. You're welcome.
Yeah, he
Turkey dinner."
He didn't like that too much.
I was like, "Yeah, Bree." You know, I think Roger is soft in a way. He feels soft, so it makes it worse. You know, he's just not quite fitting in there. So I think he's just in his head too much.
Yeah,
On that
I
part.
think that male pride, just he doesn't like being shown up or feels
Maybe
like
a
he's
little bit
being
of that.
shown up.
Yeah, I think he's also not wanting
I don't
to
think
be
she's
there.
trying to. Yeah.
He doesn't really want to be there.
Yeah.
So he's asking, you know, they're talking about being there, and he keeps bringing it up, and duh, she doesn't want to leave her parents. She traveled back like 200 years to find them, and she endured a horrific atrocity with what happened with Bonnet, and she still wants to stay. That's her family, you know? So, I mean, her prerogative?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and the fact that Roger doesn't have any family left.
True. That's
Really?
that's his family. But he's not.
Yeah.
He's still not seeing Jamie as his family because he
Yeah.
says, "You're my family. Jemmy's my family. Jamie is my colonel," or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So, but that's his family too, you know. Although Jamie didn't really make him feel welcome.
He did call him my son.
Yeah, but he also beat him to a pulp.
Yeah. There's that.
So he might be experiencing PTSD himself, but they're not really
Yeah.
showing that part. So and then they flash back to when the lieutenant's having a conscience. So that's when I put on there, Jamie can use that maybe to his advantage later. And I was thinking about that part. They're kind of talking about the vow they took to King and Country. Don't you go to sleep on me. The vow he takes to King and Country, and I'm hoping he doesn't take that vow very seriously. Do you notice, like, all his vows and oaths he's taken are very serious, and he has to abide by them. I mean, he got.
I think ultimately, though, he always ends up choosing his family.
He does choose his family, but remember when Blackjack was like, I'm going to release your wife and you're going to stay here? And so he didn't try to harm Blackjack because of Claire. And I'm thinking, you had no knowledge if she was safe. I mean, he basically threw her out the door. In the book, he threw her to wolves, and she ends up killing a wolf. In the show, he just throws her out the door. But I wouldn't have trusted Blackjack, and he was in that horrific position because he gave his word. Jamie, when he gives his word, he like sees it through, and that worries me just a little bit. I'm hoping that he kind of is doing the double agent thing, and when push comes to shove, he doesn't really have allegiance. You know, his allegiance is to his family. I'm hoping he's learned that as he's aged, because the whole Blackjack situation was horrid.
We don't want to go back
No.
there.
So I have that for that part, and then Marcelly, I'm like, hey Marcelly, and I'm Claire. Hey Marcelly, I need to show you something. Come on, girl.
What? What is it?
Come in this room. What?
Oh my God!
Why in the world doesn't Claire warn people?
I think Claire kind of has like this morbid, like sense of humor. Something.
What?
Would
you like me to do that to you? Hey, Brittany, let me show you something.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, I have a question for you. Do you like dead bodies?
Oh, don't mind the dead body on the table.
Oh, okay, I have his name right here. Mr. Farish. Can we please get Mr. Farish off the table and out of your house? Because it's probably stanking right now. That's what I have on that part.
Claire's like, how long can I keep this here and keep inviting people in and just not warning them at all about
I wrote down, hey Marcelly girl, look at his cut up body now. She's like, I don't want to defile the body. She's like, no, it's good.
And then
You're
she's
good.
like, what did she say?
She said,
"Is Mother right? You're a witch," or something like that.
Yeah, leg hair. She brings up leg hair.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, you're kind and caring and have the right instincts. So that's why I'm showing you this dead body. And they talk about an autopsy, what that is. And like Marcelly goes, oh, like a seamstress. Yes,
Pretty
that's
much.
right. I'm not a witch. I'm a seamstress.
We're not witches.
We're not witches. So then they leave that, and I put on here, Jamie is bound to Governor Tryon, but he risks everything by breaking into that jail for the Highlanders. I'm like, hurry up, just hurry up. He's going to get caught somehow. Do you remember, like, the whole thing with Dougal? Dougal walks in because they're, like, discussing their plan in the open. I'm like, we have to murder somebody. like just get out of there, you know? And just flashback. And then I was like, you know, Jamie's like basically saying, Murtaugh. I told you to be hard to find. And Murtaugh's like, dun 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 dun.
I'm going to go out with a bang.
In the midst of everything, let's tar and feather people.
Yeah.
And then they go back to this chopping outside. I guess that's tallow, fat. They're making candles, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Chopping the fat. Yeah. And poor Claire, at this point, she's just dealing with really backwards ideas of medicine. These people keep ingesting poison.
What was that one?
Is it St. James? St. James powder?
I think.
We'll have to look that up. Yeah, we're interested in herbs. We had a big garden, and we're interested in different medicinal things. I've made tinctures. I'm not a witch, by the way. I've made tinctures just like y'all, and just my disclaimer: I'm not a witch. But we love herbs and stuff like that, like the stuff you grow in the garden, that kind of herbs. I'm just making it worse for myself at this point. You know what I mean. For medicine, okay. And then a remarkable comparison is made by Bree. She brings up Ottertooth. She says, you know, you're making these preventative tips, but Ottertooth brought back information of the future. Nobody listened to him, but Claire is brilliant.
Yeah.
And what does she do?
She uses a man's name,
A doctor,
on her papers so that people will listen, hopefully.
And I think that
Just smart.
diverts the attention
Yeah.
from her.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, people aren't as likely to listen to a woman's
Well,
advice.
also, like, why would you know this? Like, Bree's
Yeah.
concerned, like, you're gonna be called
Yeah.
a witch. Why would you
Yeah.
know this information? And she could just say, oh, this is new science by Dr. So-and-so.
Isn't that funny that men could say things and not be called a witch? Why is
Yeah.
it just women?
Yeah, well, I think some of them did back in the day get burned, men too,
Did they?
but there weren't really women doctors back then.
No.
I mean, later on in the 1800s, we had Florence Nightingale, which
Mhm.
she reminds me of Claire
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. And then, we flash back to Jamie doing the double agent kind of thing, and the lieutenant saying, he's becoming a little bit wiser and saying, your men are not enough. We're going to have a war, and we need to get more men. So, like a big brouhaha is about to happen.
Brings up that he saw the men at the wedding
Yeah.
that stepped up.
And it's
so
not
now he's
enough.
Pulling those men in.
Yeah, so we get back to Claire and her cadaver, and I hear her say, or one of them says, oh yeah, the cadaver's in the root cellar, and I'm like, is that where you keep your canned goods, like your food and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool and dank down there. I'm still wondering, like she doesn't have formaldehyde. I'm just really...
I think she's just waiting for someone to go down to fetch
Oh,
a jar of pickled beans and...
Hopefully he's all covered, like all
yeah, I'm
covered.
sure his face is covered with the little napkin.
Yucky. And then she's doing the eye exam on Roger, and he's like, oh, talking about his fighter pilot dad, and I guess he didn't get that gene. And he's like, I guess I don't have bad eyesight, I'm just a bad shot. Poor Roger.
And that was kind of where they had their conversation about going back.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, Clara wants him to go back too, but then, I wouldn't want to leave either if I was Bree. And I was thinking, Claire was talking about how Jimmy's gonna fall down, he could fall down and skin his knee, and then she doesn't even have penicillin. I'm like, man, she's talking like they live in a big petri dish, basically.
The wee beasties.
The wee beasties, exactly. And I know times are rough, but they seem to be doing pretty good. I mean, Bree gave birth back then. Claire wasn't able to do that twice. Claire had to go to the future, so it seems like Bree's tougher physically than Claire was, because she couldn't have, she lost faith. Then she had to give birth to Bree in the future.
Yeah.
So, and it's interesting that they're talking about, this just occurred to me, they're talking about not knowing if Jemmy can travel. How are they going to know if Jemmy can travel?
He has to be able to hear the buzzing.
The buzzing?
In the stones.
I thought they were going to be like, okay, arm.
Put
your hand in. Oh, yeah, no. Oh, you lost your hand.
But they don't
Sorry.
know if or when that will happen.
I find that interesting because Claire traveled back to her future while pregnant, and she just risked it.
Yeah,
Right?
she did.
Yeah, so let's see what I have in here. Blah, 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 blah.
Claire was making the penicillin
Yeah.
with the
Oh
bread.
yeah, Bree's like
all the
freaking
bread.
out. She's got to get Mama reined in. Would you stop putting this stuff away? Can you imagine if like Governor Tryon like walked in there and saw all this stuff that she has? Yeah, I mean that's
I don't
interesting.
know. That bread looked really good, and I was like, she's just wasting all that homemade bread.
But I believe that when she went back in time at one point, she took penicillin with her and different things
She
with
did,
her.
yeah.
So why is it such a big deal now? I don't know. More emphasis because she's in one spot. I know before they like moved and didn't really have a home, and people didn't really notice. Like if she's on a ship, they didn't notice.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. And then it goes to Murtaugh and the encampment, and they're talking about, that Murtaugh wavers between two fires, so it's him that they're talking about, and other people secondary, because it's the two fires are the cause that he's in and his godson, and I don't know. The guys are worried in his encampment, but at least Murtaugh and Jamie get each other.
Yeah.
Quit
I just
yawning.
yawned.
Yeah, quit yawning. She thinks y'all are so boring. I'm just kidding.
I'm so
Here,
over it.
Wake up!
Yeah, that didn't. I needed coffee, not tea.
You could have made coffee for yourself.
Oh, we could reenact the women fighting.
Oh yeah.
scene.
Oh, we do have a fight scene that we did. Okay,
Oh,
so have
yeah.
you guys heard of the Kilted Coaches? She has, and she's like, hey, they did a push-up challenge all over town. Do you want to do one? And it was like the coldest day in Texas. It was so freaking cold.
Scottish weather.
Yeah, it was Scottish weather. So we had these kilts on with tights, the little caps. What are those called?
I don't know. They're your caps.
Like men's caps, and they have like tartan kind of colors on them.
Yeah.
And then we had cowboy boots on because that makes sense with kilts. And we were going around town doing coaches and like having really weird stuff happen. But this one time we were on a bridge, and my camera guy, who's 14, said, "Y'all fight." And we're like, "Okay." We have a really cool fight scene. Maybe I'll put it on there.
I don't know if it's really cool.
We
but
think it's cool. We do.
it was funny.
We're just. We think we're funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny.
We think we're funny.
Yeah, she was just saying earlier, we do really strange things. I was like, yes, we do. It's almost 3 a.m. and we're doing this. But hey, my family's sleeping.
Yeah.
So it works, right? So to me, another thing that struck me is Murtaugh is so different now. And I know it's because he was supposed to die at the Battle of Culloden, so obviously he's a kind of like a new character in a way. But before he was so stoic and like quiet, and now he's like, I am the leader, and you will be brought to justice, tar and feather, whoosh. And you know, he's not very quiet anymore. So it's kind of like weird. He's kind of like Jamie was.
I think that kind of comes with age, too.
Yeah, well, Jamie was that way when he was younger.
Yeah.
And now he's like that.
Yeah, they're kind of switching
Yeah.
roles a little bit.
I thought that was
there.
really interesting.
I think he's kind of, can I say pissed off? I think he's
He's a little
I think
angry.
he's a little angry at himself for leaving Jocasta behind.
That's
what I
Jocasta. Well, also what they went through in Scotland, that makes sense. I mean, they were
I'm
put in
going
prison.
with Jocasta because I'm still angry.
Well, they were put in
with him.
prison. He almost died in prison. All that's the stuff that happened to Highlanders. He just
Yeah.
doesn't want it to happen again. He's like, look,
Yeah.
this already happened to us. It's not going to happen again. You know, and Bree is just continually worried about everything. Roger's worried about everything. Claire's worried about them staying as well. And I just say they should just continue being themselves. And Claire even says, time, space, history, be damned. So she even says that in the show, but kind of doesn't apply it to Bree staying there, you know? And I was like, they're worried about Claire making penicillin, or Bree's worried about Claire making penicillin. Here's Roger singing, was it Jeremiah was a bullfrog?
Yeah, Joy to the World.
Joy to the World.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm like, he's gonna get caught singing those songs. Someone's gonna walk up and go,
What are you singing?
witch, wizard, I don't know what you call a guy. I don't know. What are you singing? Yeah, warlock, wizard. I watched Harry Potter today, can you tell? And then the cabin where Bree and Roger are staying, was that the same cabin that Claire and Jamie was staying? Because the big house is so different. It's the big clearing, because, you know, before it was in the woods, and we had the Native American Indians in there, and now it's like in a clearing, and it looks so much more like settled, right? I guess that was the objective. But then you go to Bree and Roger's place, and it's in the woods. I really like that.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if that was the same cabin. If anybody knows, let me know. I don't know if that was or not. And then,
Roger.
oh no, Roger finds the bonnet sketches. He's triggered, obviously. And Bree's like, come out, look, Jenny's walking. And she's all happy, and he's like,
And then it's kind of like
trying to be,
a whole,
trying to be happy.
whole other reminder
Yeah.
that Jimmy's not his.
Yeah, possibly not his. I think it's his.
Do you?
I haven't read the books. I think it's his, though. I don't know.
I hadn't even thought about it.
I don't know. I think, well, he gave him the blood oath anyway, so either way.
Yeah.
But I got to thinking about that too. Okay, so she has her wedding. She's like, woo, I'm so happy. She hears the name Bonnet. Ruin that good time. Then they're like, oh, Jimmy's walking. Ruin that time. So both of them have had a really good, you know, a monumental thing kind of get ruined by the bonnet cloud. And so after that, you know, we go into these women fighting, and we're like, oh, never seen that or heard of that. And I'm interested to know if that happened.
It's an actual thing.
Yeah, in history, you know, like I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me though.
I don't know. I've just never seen that before. You know, I flash back to that movie Far and Away with Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise, and he was the fighter. You know, and the women had to like do the other stuff. You know, so that was interesting. And of course, you know, we see that Bonnet. You know, he's there. Of course, he would be there. I mean, you know, and then do you guys know who Forbes is? That guy Forbes is talking to him. He looked really familiar. Like, you didn't place him either.
He was in episodes before.
Yeah,
but
I can't place him. I can't think it. So we're just watching our episodes and coming right on here and recording. So we're not doing any research or anything like that. We just, you know, and we're tired. Or she's more tired. I came over here on coffee and I drank tea.
I had my coffee earlier today, so
I had it on the way over here. She could tell I was on coffee because I'm like, which I naturally talk more anyway.
Just like a turkey.
Yeah, exactly like that. So, and then in a Bonnet fashion, you know, he has to have a sword fight, a duel, right? And he's like, yeah. And the guy's like, oh, I give up, you know, and what does he have to do?
Killing nature.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, there's a crowd around me. Let me show off. So did he take both the guy's eyes or one?
I couldn't tell if
did he stab him in the eye?
His eyes out or just cut him across here?
No, he got him. I saw blood. I don't know what that was, but he could tell he could take him, you know, whatever that was. I was like, yeah, that's great. And then he has that famous line, I'm a father now. I'm a father after all. I was like, ew.
I must set a better example.
Yeah.
I'm a father now.
Dun, dun, dun. End the show. So you're left with...
Yeah. So now at, about 4 o'clock in the morning, we're going to go to sleep with that stuck in our heads.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome. But I did go into the inside the scenes 502, and the directors were talking about Bree is also between two fires of her hubby, staying with, you know, going back to the future with Roger or staying with her family. And they also talk about some other characters being between two fires. They were saying that Marcelly's between two fires because of her mother and Claire. I don't really see that with Marcelly and Claire. I mean, I know they're directors, but I think Marcelly's pretty accepting.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it was there more in the beginning.
Yeah,
their relationship.
And actually, Claire, they were saying that, you know, she's kind of a mother figure. Well, Claire would actually be her stepmother, right? Because Jamie was married to Leghair. And I really like Marcelly, even though she came from a really crazy person. But so I don't know. Marcelly, like for me, is like really refreshing in the show. So I really do wish though that they would show more of Fergus. Hey Fergus, watch the kids for me. Done with Fergus.
Yeah, you don't see much of Fergus.
Yeah, I just adored when Fergus the child was there. I mean, I just adored him. And then when Claire comes back, you know, in season 4, and she sees him and they embrace, and you know, and then he marries Marcelly and all that. But I really want to see more of him. And is Ian and Rollo coming back? I don't know. I really like them. You know, everybody's like, oh, they had everybody at the wedding. I'm like, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. What about Ian and Rollo? You know, they didn't have everybody.
Traipsing with the Native Americans.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to do that. He wanted to be with them. So I thought, I said it last time, I thought he was in good standing. So I thought he could, like, I guess he can't be like, hey guys,
he didn't get the message.
Yeah, so I'm kind of a little bit dumbfounded that there are no more Native Americans. I mean, back in that time, wouldn't there have still been like Native Americans doing tracking and hunting and all that kind of stuff? They're just kind of out of these 2 episodes. Like they're just gone. They didn't move all of them at that point. I mean, they'd still be around, I would think.
They'll come in at some point.
Yeah, but you know, and then Lord John wasn't in this one either.
No.
So hopefully he'll have a spot too, because the last episode he's just sitting there and the guy goes floop, and passes out. And he's just like. But I enjoyed the episode.
Yeah.
You?
I did.
What about you?
Yes.
He's the quiet type. He's our bodyguard.
Yeah.
Would you like some tea?
Would you like to
Cheers.
cheers?
Cheers the night away. We're gonna get some sleep now.
Good night.
Bye. Good night. And I can't get out of the chair because Jamie's behind me. This time you can get out. Oh yeah, climb. I'm gonna climb to get out. Don't break the chair.
good.
Oh my gosh, you have a strong chair. Can you imagine if you fell and hit your chin?
Stitches in my chin?
Yeah, stitches in the chin. I can get out now.
Wait,
Oh,
I'm
my.
not going to push stop until you get out
Yep, you're stuck.
because this might be funny.
I got out. More graceful. Climb over. Jamie! Climb over. Gosh, Jamie. Hi, we're Celtic Gypsies. I'm Mata,
And I'm Brittany.
and we're here to. It's a block look at the black hole.
Why are we here, Mara?
I don't know where to do it again. Okay. I'm in a really laughy mood. My T should be on the right side. It should be over here.
Good day to you.
Hello, we're the Celtic Gypsies. We're not even like drinking. This is tea. Hi, we're the Celtic Gypsies. I'm Mata. And she's cleaning her ear. Her ear is itching.
Allergies.
Okay.
Try again. Okay.
This is so bad.
Okay.
It's so late at night. Is it like 1 in the morning?
No, it's 2:30.
That's it.
2:36.
Thank you.